Where to watch all of the Crow movies and TV shows in order. For those who experienced the goth phase during the 90s, chances are they were indoctrinated by 1994 film The Crow, starring the late Brandon Lee as Eric Draven. Based on James O'Barr's graphic novel, the film series follows a series of murdered victims, all of whom die tragically, but are then resurrected and guided by a crow to exact vengeance on their perpetrators. But first, they must undergo their heroic transformation that includes black eyeliner, white makeup, and a leather jacket. Each one of them, that crow clearly also harbors the ability to make every person it resurrects take on the iconic look of the Rocky Horror Picture Show's Dr. Frank-N-Furter. You might know of the Alex Proyas original, but what about the standalone sequels? A few went to theaters, a few released direct-to-video, and there was one short-lived television series. One of the entries even starred a young Kirsten Dunst. With Rupert Sanders' 2024 reimagining starring Bill Skarsgård and FKA Twigs now released in theaters, let's take a look back at every Crow iteration from the very beginning to the present. The Crow tells the story of Eric Draven, Brandon Lee, a guitarist living in a crime-riddled Detroit. One night, he with his fiancée Shelley, Sophia Shinas, are viciously murdered by a street gang. 1 year later, Sarah Moore, Rachel Davis, a young friend Eric and Shelley used to care for, visits their grave. While there, a crow taps on his grave and brings him back to life as an invincible, super-strengthened entity that hunts a group of criminals working for a gang leader named Top Dollar, Michael Wincuft. With the help of the crow and Moore, Draven goes on a rage-fueled revenge streak. Eric Draven isn't the only man to get that kiss from a crow on the grave. The following installment, The Crow 2, City of Angels, is set in LA with a new victim in Ash Corvin, Vincent Perez, who was killed alongside his son by a drug cartel. After that supernatural crow comes calling on his tombstone, a reborn Corvin seeks the help of an adult Sarah Moore, Mia Kirshner, as he pursues murderous revenge on the cartel. The Eric Draven story gets stretched out into a television show that might as well have walked so that Supernatural's Winchester brothers could run. Mark Dacascos plays Draven in this syndicated adaptation. Instead of pursuing revenge against his murderers, he returns to Earth to resolve a number of the world's problems, and the fantasy entities are involved within it. There are plenty of strange fantasy creatures and stories involved in this one-season series, including an anti-crow in the form of a snake, a click show, time loops, Rasputin, multiple crow spirits, and more. With each episode, Eric Draven must assist the subjects of the week who surround him or run in his teenage human friend Sarah Moore's, Katie Stewart's circle. Draven fights for justice to safeguard the innocent in this mortal world, so he can return to heaven to be with his fiancée Shelley, Sublime Carcenti. The Crow continues its coast-to-coast resurrection tour in this direct-to-video release. This time it stops in Salt Lake City to find Alex Corvus, Eric Mabius, a wrongfully convicted felon for his girlfriend Lauren's, Jody Lynn O'Keefe, murder. Though he knows the features of the killer, the force prosecutes him. After serving 3 years on death row, he's given the chair. Soon, the Crow revives Corvus. With help from the Crow and Lauren's sister Erin, Kirsten Dunst, Corvus must become judge, jury, and executioner by finding out who killed his girlfriend. As if the supernatural forces of the Crow were not enough, the gothic energy goes extreme by the arrival of Satanists in this installment. Jimmy Cuervo, Edward Furlong, and his girlfriend Lily, Emmanuel Criqui, are killed by Satanists in a ritual attempt to resurrect the devil. You get the gist by now. The Crow goes tap-tap-tapping on Jimmy's grave and brings him back to life. As Jimmy steamrolls some Satanists, the cult's leaders, Luck Death Crash, David Boreanaz, and his girlfriend Lola, Tara Reid, try to complete their Antichrist revival quest and triumph over Jimmy. Also, the devilishly delightful Dennis Hopper and Danny Trejo appear in supporting roles. Reimagined for Crow temporary times, this 2024 remake follows Eric Draven, Bill Skarsgård, and Shelley, FKA Twigs, two star-crossed lovers who meet in an institution. Shelley unfortunately has a dark past involving witnessing crime lord Vincent Rogue, Danny Houston, killing someone with his demonic powers. Soon enough, Eric and Shelley are tragically murdered by Rogue and his goons. In the afterlife, Eric is offered the chance to go back to the land of the living and exact revenge on Rogue to be reunited with Shelley in the afterlife. Eric, guided by the Crow and imbued with invincibility and super strength, sets out to take down Rogue and end his reign of power once and